Hey guys, this is Priest, Troy Monteith. I'm here to show you some updates that I've had for the NPC Random Treasure Drops extension. So I'm gonna probably just walk you through some of this again. You gotta remember to come to your modules and you're gonna want to load up probably the player's handbook. Where is the player's handbook? Okay, so we're going to load up the handbook so that we have a list of items and stuff from that. Let's open up the Dungeon Master's Guide for all their magic items, all their tables and stuff. We're going to want to open up the module that comes with the extension. And I think that's all we need. Well, of course, we're going to need some monsters. So, Monster Manual, Foe's Guide to Monsters. And let's even open up Morden Canaan's Tome of Foes. Okay, so it's important that we get all of these loaded up so that we have all the information in our library here. I'm just gonna pop that open to all. So what we have is NPCs that we can drop into the combat tracker. These guys don't really have anything, actually. I'm gonna go ahead and pick some humanoids, I think. Humanoid. Let's go with an archmage, an assassin. Actually, let's get the archmage off there. I'm gonna show something about him later. Let's go with assassin and bandit. So right off the bat, without showing too much, we're just gonna hit loot. No one is dead, so we're going to change it to all foes since everyone's alive and we want to loot them. So then we've got the treasure parcels for them, and it's gone ahead and taken all of the loot from their items. So we see that the assassin has a short sword and a light crossbow. So we got a short sword, and we got a light crossbow. We got two because the bandit also has one, I believe. Yeah. And then we got some ammunition for them. If I loot again, it's going to be the same because the treasure parcels, if I come into parcels, if I go to random treasure parcels, then I should be able to find them in here. A bunch of these are loaded up from the module. Otherwise, they get created in here, right? So if you don't have one, let's say if I rename him to Morgan, let's say, and then loot him, we've created a random treasure parcel for Morgan, and it's in here somewhere so that we can loot it again. So I could say Morgan, and there he is. Yeah. Right. So then if I loot again, I'm just gonna get all the loot from them. But yeah, you can set the die strings for these so that it's a random number each time. You can set it to a single number so it's static. You get that same number every time. Or you could just leave it alone and it'll kind of take care of itself. Now you notice that you're not really getting a lot else from them. So say if you have an NPC that doesn't have an item that is in, like, these are all in your library somewhere. If you go into items, it's pulling all of that from in here, right? So it's either going to pull it from in here or it's going to pull it from an existing random treasure parcel. And you can do that for the encounters. If I come to an encounter, there's a little button here we see, and we loot from them. And you'll get the, every time you loot, you'll get the name of the encounter, if it was an encounter, or if you loot from here, it's just going to say what all creatures you've looted. Now see, we're not getting a lot off of these guys. So, in the Dungeon Master's Guide, there are some treasure parcels that we might want to use. Individual. Right, so I'm going to pull these up. This is 0 to 4. So I've got a new tab for conditions. So I'm going to add 2 conditions to this one. I'm going to say if type contains humanoid, and I'm going to say if, oh, I skipped it, if CR is less than 5, then I'm going to enable the table. And if I wanted to roll this a certain amount of times, I could put in a die string or a certain static number. But I'm not. I'm just going to leave it blank so it'll roll once. I'm going to do that for this one as well, so enable it, conditions. This one is 5 to 10, so humanoid 4 and 11. I'm going to say type contains, and I'm going to have CR is more, and CR is less. So if CR is more than 4, CR is less than 11, and is a humanoid, it'll roll. Enable this one. This one is 11 to 16, so 3 more. And say type contains humanoid if CR is more than 10, and if CR is less than 17. Right, and then last one, enable the table, go to conditions. I'm going to add 2 for this one. You say if type contains humanoid, and if CR is more than 16. So what this has done is all of these tables are now active for looting. So if I close out, well, it's probably when I reload the campaign again, these will show up enabled or disabled. So what's going to happen now is it's going to look at the NPCs that I'm looting, and it's going to see their type, and it's going to say, oh, humanoid is within there. It's going to look at their challenge rating. It's going to see what it's between. And for each NPC that we're looting, it's going to roll that table. So now, if I hit loot, I've gotten gold points from one of them, and I've gotten silver points from another based on the appropriate tables, as well as all of their loot. And you can do that with any table. There's an assortment of tables out there for looting certain kind of creatures. You can get kind of spell components or anything like that, and that would allow you to just quickly already set up something that's already in place. If you wanted to set up some kind of a mega table, you could do that as well. I've got all sorts of random loot tables that I've built over the years in my own campaigns that I just kind of recycle. Yeah, so that's one of the cool things there. So now you're able to kind of further define what kind of creatures get what kind of animals you see in the tables there. That I'll just go to this one for example. You can set up any kind of conditions. You can look at the name, you can look at the speed, the size, the skills, the AC text, actions, traits, type, CR, their AC, their HP. You can see their attributes, strength, intelligence, wisdom, charisma. And so like strings, you want to look for matches and contains. That would be for certain kind of words and stuff that you're looking for. Speed, you'd be able to do is less or is more by typing in like flying 20 or something like that. Right? So you can actually really kind of nitpick what kind of NPCs would roll on what kind of tables. So that's really neat. You're able to do just about any kind of customization on that and then just leave it alone for the rest of the time. I would recommend maybe copying tables to your database and then doing that on the copied ones, just in case they edit any kind of an update changes something and you lose these enabled disabled settings, your conditions maybe. Right, and say before at one point, let's see, I gotta find a table so I can show you here. This one, so say if you had this set up to roll. It was only rolling this one at one point, so now it's gonna roll all of these results. So that way, you know, that was a problem before, it's fixed now. So let's show another thing that's been updated. If you have the random spellbook generator, then you could take an NPC like the Archmage here, and if you've got spells in your library, and if you've got him opened up here, you can see he's got spellcasting, and he has wizard within it, and he's got a bunch of spells. So if I loot him, I now get a spellbook. It's his spellbook. It's been created into the items here somewhere. Spell Archmage's spellbook. So we get you know, what type it is, subtype, variety is always going to be very rare. Cost is going to be based on the level of the spell and the number of spells. The weight is also going to be determined by that. So the bigger the spell, like the higher level of the spell, the more pages it has, basically. Right? So then you've got a list of all these spells you can go ahead and give to your wizard. And this will be it's not going to create duplicates, so if you have one in there already, you could customize this even further and make your own, and that way you only get certain spells off of each each archmage in this instance. So yeah, I think that's it for the NPC random treasure drops. There's been a lot of fixes, a lot of improvements to generation, and where you can loot from. There was a big problem with encounters for a little while, but that seems to be a lot more fixed. There's nothing really to get off your hag, I guess. Warriors. Yeah. We only got one because we just created that. So if we loot it again, we'll get all 30 of their stuff. So that would be something to keep note. So that would be it. Thank you guys. We'll see you around, and if you need any help, just come visit me in the Discord, and be happy to assist you when I don't have any plans or too busy. Thanks. Bye, guys.